I'd love to be able to go in a different way. I never imagined having to say goodbye because I'd never thought of it, but I never imagined it this way.
Lionel Messi is an Argentinian soccer player who has forever inscribed his name in the history of sports. He went from a growth hormone deficient little boy from a not so prosperous neighborhood to one of the greatest players the world has ever seen. How Lionel Messi lives and how he spends his millions. Lionel Andrés Messi was born on June 24, 1987, in the Argentinian city of Rosario, where one of his ancestors, Angelo Messi, emigrated from Italy. Leo became the third son of Jorge Horacio, a factory worker at a steel mill, and Stella Maria, who worked in a workshop for many years and then was employed as a cleaner. Messi's brothers are Matthias and Rodrigo, and later their younger sister Maria Sol was born. By the way, two of his cousins, Emmanuel and Maximiliano Biancucci, are also soccer players. Lionel's childhood happened during a period of severe economic crisis in the country, so his parents even thought about emigrating to Australia. Nevertheless, the family stayed in Argentina and lived quite modestly but not poorly. Their two-bedroom house in a deprived area of Rosario still belongs to Messi and stands empty. Lionel's father, who also played soccer in his youth, worked as a coach of the Grandoli's children's soccer team. 4-year-old Leo was brought there by his grandmother, who accompanied her grandson at all practices and games until her death. In her honor, Messi raises his hands to the sky after scoring a goal. In an ordinary, non-soccer-oriented school, Messi demonstrated average academic performance, but most of all he loved physical education and music lessons. After becoming a professional soccer player, he bought furniture, computers, and textbooks for the school. At the age of 6, the young talent joined the Newell's Old Boys Club. Over the next 6 years, he won the Peru Friendship Cup, scored almost 500 goals as part of the team of kids born in 1987, and regularly entertained the crowd by performing tricks with the ball during matches. At the age of 10, Messi was diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency. Since his father's health insurance only covered 2 years of treatment, which cost at least $1,000 a month, the Newell's team agreed to contribute but later reneged on their promise. The boy was noticed by scouts of the River Plate Club from Buenos Aires, but this club could not pay for the treatment either. Then in September 2000, 13-year-old Lionel went to see the legendary Barcelona soccer club. Although Lionel's performance impressed the coaches, the club's board of directors hesitated due to the player's young age and large expenses. In addition to treatment, payment for an apartment for the whole family was required. The decision-making was delayed, and the soccer player's agent in Europe, Horacio Gagioli, at one of the friendly meetings with the sports director of Barcelona, Carles Reixach, and one of the directors of the club gave them an ultimatum. Either Messi signs a contract or goes to another club. Then Reixach wrote the famous letter of guarantee on a paper napkin about the club's intention to sign a contract. A week later, the document was notarized and Barcelona backed up the agreement on a napkin with date on the rented house for the Messi family, the school for kids, and the salary of his father at his new job. On February 15, 2001, the Messi family flew to Spain, and Lionel joined the Barcelona youth team, but for the first year he played only in exhibition matches and the regional league. After a year at Barcelona's youth academy, Messi was finally enrolled in the Royal Spanish Football Federation in February 2002 and was eligible to participate in all competitions. After completing a course of growth hormone treatment at the age of 14, Messi became an integral part of the Barcelona youth team. Now Messi is 5'5 inches, but if he had not managed to get to Barcelona and receive the necessary injections, according to doctors' forecasts, he would hardly have reached the height of 4'6 inches. By the way, even as a child, because of his small stature, Messi got the nickname Flea. After his first season of 2002-2003, Messi became the team's top scorer with 36 goals in 30 matches and received an offer to join Arsenal in London but chose to stay in Spain. On November 16, 2003, Messi made his debut for the main Barcelona team in an exhibition game against Porto, and his debut in the official match took place on October 16, 2004. Lionel came out 8 minutes before the end of the match against Espanyol. On December 7th of the same year, Messi made his Champions League debut in a game against the Shakhtar Donetsk. The first official contract of the player with Catalan club stated a salary of $1,700 per week, but after successful performances, Messi's income increased significantly, up to $10,200 per week. Although then the Argentinian player played mainly in the youth team, he was constantly called for the main team's matches, where Messi became friends with Ronaldinho. It was after the Brazilians' pass on May 1, 2005, that Leo scored his first goal for Barcelona, becoming the youngest player in the history of a Catalan club to distinguish himself in a Spanish championship match. At that time, he was only 17 years, 10 months, and 7 days old. That season, Barcelona won the championship for the first time in 6 years. In June 2005, Messi played at the World Youth Championship, where he achieved victory with the national team, became the top scorer with 6 goals, and received the Golden Ball as the best player of the tournament. In the Netherlands, where the championship was held, the sports director of Barcelona came with one purpose: to sign a new contract with the soccer player who had turned 18 on June 24th. The player's salary per month increased to $28,000 and soon to $56,000 a week. At the same time, Messi received Spanish citizenship so that the club could meet the limit on foreign players. In August, the Argentinian made his debut for the national team in an exhibition match against Hungary. Lionel entered the field in the 64th minute, but after 2 minutes he violated the rules and received a red card. At that time, Leo was dating 14-year-old Macarena Lemos, a Rosario local, but the relationship did not work out. Then the sportsman briefly dated the model of the Argentinian playboy, Luciana Salazar, then Miss Poland, Anna Werber, and the Argentinian model, Claudia Cardone. In March, Lionel scored a hat-trick in a match against Barcelona's sworn enemy, Real Madrid, and doubled his income. Now his annual salary was $5.4 million. At the end of the 2005-2006 season, Lionel was injured, which caused him to miss the final match in the Champions League, where Barcelona beat Arsenal 2-1. Also that season, Messi, as part of his team, won the Spanish championship for the second time in a row. Despite the injury, Messi was included in the national team's bid for the 2006 World Cup and scored in the group stage match, becoming the youngest player in history of the Argentinian national team to score a goal at the World Cup. He was 18 years old at the time. In December, the Italian newspaper Tuttosport awarded Lionel the Golden Boy Award as the best young player under 21. In 2007, the athlete opened his own charity foundation, which raises funds to help sick Argentinian children in need of expensive treatment. There are teenagers with a lack of growth hormones among the wards of the organization as well. Money from the sale of Leo L10 premium Malbec wine, produced by the Argentinian winery Casa Bianchi, are also transferred to the fund. The 2007-2008 season was marred by numerous injuries. The club explained this by the usual structure of Messi's muscles, but the doctor of the Argentinian national team spoke about excessive loads on the body. In 2008, Lionel, despite the objections of Barcelona, went to the Olympic soccer tournament as part of the national team and won the gold. At the same time, Lionel began dating his childhood friend Antonella Racuzzo. In his youth, Leo was in love with her, and after arriving in his hometown for the holidays, their affair was renewed with the same vigor. For a year, they dated in secret until the athlete admitted in an interview that he was in a serious relationship in which he was very happy. In the 2008-2009 season, Messi changed his player number 19 to 10 after the retirement of Ronaldinho and became the highest-paid Barcelona player with an annual salary of $8.8 million. With a new coach, Pep Guardiola, the Catalans won 3 tournaments: the Spanish Cup, the UEFA Champions League, and the Spanish Championship. This started a winning streak of 8 championships in a row. Messi scored a goal in the Champions League final, became the top scorer of the tournament, and scored 47 goals in total during the season. After that, the 22-year-old Argentine began to receive $13.5 million a year, and the amount of compensation upon termination of the contract was $280 million. After winning the Spanish Super Cup and the UEFA Super Cup in 2009, Barcelona won the FIFA Club World Cup, with Messi scoring the winning goal. Lionel also became the first Argentine to be awarded the Golden Ball and recognized as the FIFA Player of the Year. In 2010, Lionel Messi became a Goodwill Ambassador for UNICEF. At the 2010 World Cup, the Argentinian national team, under the leadership of Maradona, was considered a contender for the title despite an unsuccessful qualification campaign. Messi, as the captain of the team, was named one of the 10 best players of the tournament. But after the team's departure in the quarterfinals with a crushing score of 0-4 from Germany, Lionel was accused in his homeland of caring more about his club than about his country. Barcelona, together with Messi, definitely continued their victorious march, winning title after title, including the Champions League in the 2010-2011 season. And in 2011, the Argentinian received another Golden Ball, which was jointly awarded by France Football and the FIFA for the first time. The following year, the prize also went to Lionel, as well as the title of the best Argentinian athlete. And at the end of 2012, the player became the first four-time winner of the Golden Ball in history. At the same time, he became the top scorer in the history of Barcelona in the Spanish Championship. Back in November 2012, Lionel and his girlfriend Antonella had a son, who was named Thiago. Almost immediately after the birth of the baby, he was included in the Newell's Old Boys Club, in which Messi began his career. Leo, in turn, got a tattoo on his leg with the name of the firstborn and the imprint of his hands. In 2013, a gold cast of the left foot of the Argentinian soccer player was sold at an auction for $5.25 million, and all the money went to help the victims of the tsunami in Japan. Later, two portraits of Messi were sold at another auction, and the proceeds of $1 million were donated to the development of children's education in Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Nepal. In the same year, Messi's problems with the Spanish authorities began. They opened an investigation on suspicion of tax evasion. According to the prosecution, Lionel hid information about his income to avoid paying taxes from 2007 to 2009. Then Messi managed to temporarily resolve the issue by paying the debt of $5.6 million. In 2014, Messi, along with the national team, reached the final at the World Cup, where the Argentinians lost to Germany with a score of 0-1. In 7 matches, Lionel scored 4 goals and was recognized as the best player of the World Cup. In the same year, Leo became the main character of a documentary dedicated to his life and career, extended his contract with Barcelona, and his salary reached $22.5 million a year. At the same time, Messi donates a significant part of his income to charity. He helped with the reconstruction of a sports center in his hometown of Rosario, the repair and construction of hospitals in Argentina, and donated to the treatment of Syrian children affected by street clashes between the authorities and the opposition. On September 2011-2015, Lionel and Antonella had their second son, Matteo. In the 2015-2016 season, Lionel Messi was appointed vice-captain of Barcelona and went on to win trophies with the club: the UEFA Super Cup, the Club World Cup, the Spanish Cup, and the Spanish Championship. Also, at the age of 28, the Argentine became the youngest player to play 100 matches in the Champions League. In June 2016, the Argentinian national team reached the final at the extraordinary America's Cup, but lost the title in a penalty shootout. Then Messi, who did not score his penalty shot and was disappointed, announced his departure from the team. After this statement, a real campaign began in Argentina to return him to the national team. At the Buenos Aires airport, the players were greeted with signs saying, "Don't leave, Leo." The president of Argentina had the same requests, and the head of the government of Buenos Aires unveiled a monument to Messi, near which 50,000 fans gathered on the opening day. A week later, the Argentinian media reported that their compatriot was considering returning to the national team, and in August, Lionel was included in the team for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers. Problems due to tax fraud resulted in a court verdict for Messi and his father: 21 months of probation and fines of $1.9 and $1.6 million, respectively. The player claimed that he was focused on soccer and trusted lawyers in financial matters. In the same year, the Argentine became a participant in another lawsuit, but this time as a plaintiff. He sued a newspaper and a journalist who claimed that Leo was taking an anabolic steroid and won, and transferred the 73,000 euros received as compensation to the Doctors Without Borders Foundation. Lionel Messi finished the 2016-2017 season with 54 goals and 16 assists in all competitions, and 37 goals in the Spanish Championship allowed him to receive the Golden Boot for the 4th time as the best scorer in Europe. After the end of the soccer season on June 31, 2017, Messi and Antonella got married in their hometown of Rosario. The ceremony, which took place in a luxury hotel in the city center, was attended by 260 guests, including other famous soccer players and 157 representatives of the press. The newlyweds insisted that instead of gifts, the guests transferred money to the charity fund account, and in honor of the wedding, they both got the same tattoo on their fingers, the date of their wedding written in Roman numerals. In July, Lionel Messi extended his contract with Barcelona until the end of the 2020-2021 season. According to the terms, the fixed fee for the season was $156 million, and after taxes about $80 million. Approximately $130 million more were paid to the player as lifting fees for signing the agreement, and $88 million was a loyalty bonus. In March 2018, Messi became a dad for the third time. He and his wife had a son, who they named Ciro. At the World Cup in Russia, the Argentinian national team reached the 8th finals but lost to the French, the future winners of the tournament. Then Messi announced the pause in performances for the national team until the end of the year. Before the start of the 2018-2019 season, Messi became the captain of Barcelona and immediately won the next Spanish Super Cup. Having won this trophy, Messi became the most decorated player in the history of the club. Following the results of the championship, Barcelona won the championship and the Argentinian won the Golden Boot for the 6th time. In 2019, Lionel returned to the national team and took part in the America's Cup, during which he did not show his best performance. This was stated by the player himself, and he also complained about the quality of the fields and refereeing. In the match for third place, in which the Argentines won bronze medals, Messi was sent off altogether. And later he was suspended from international matches for 3 months and was fined $50,000 for comments on referee decisions. The 2019-2020 season began for the Argentinian with injuries, but after returning to the field, he continued to break records, including receiving a record 6th Golden Ball. For Barcelona, the season interrupted by quarantine ended unsuccessfully. They lost in the championship race in La Liga to Real Madrid, and also lost in the quarterfinals of the Champions League to Bayern Munich with a score of 2-8. The results were affected by the tense situation within the club between the players, the new coaching staff, and the president. In the summer, Messi deliberately began to boycott training and tests for COVID-19, and also openly stated his desire to terminate his contract with Barcelona. However, due to the requirement to pay compensation in the amount of $790 million, as a result, Leo was forced to stay for the next season and rejoin team training. The pandemic affected the players' financial condition. Back in the spring, Messi and his teammates received a 70% reduction in their salaries so that the wages of the club's workers would not be reduced. Nevertheless, the Argentine donated $1.1 million to medical centers in Argentina and Barcelona. The 2020-2021 season began for the Argentinian on September 27th when he scored a penalty shot in the winning match of the Spanish Championship against Villarreal. And in October, Messi became the first soccer player in history to excel in 16 consecutive Champions League seasons. Also in the fall, he played 4 matches with the national team as part of the qualifying tournament for the 2022 World Cup. In these matches, he managed to score 1 goal from the penalty spot. In January 2021, in a match for the Spanish Super Cup, Messi received his first red card at club level. And later Barcelona was eliminated from the Champions League tournament for the first time in 14 years at the 8th stage. Leo played his last official match for Barcelona on May 16th at home against Celta in the Spanish Championship, where he scored a goal. In the summer, he won his first trophy with the national team. At the next America's Cup, the Argentine national team won, beating Brazil in the final with a score of 1-0. On July 1, 2021, the contract with Barcelona ended and Lionel Messi became a free agent. This time, after the change of the club's president, the Argentinian declared his desire to stay, but it turned out to be impossible to conclude a new agreement. The fact is that the Spanish league has a system of financial fair play, according to which the amount of salary should not exceed 70% of the club's profit. Messi's contract, even with the salary cut in half, did not fit into the 70% and another La Liga rule that prohibits a player from cutting his salary more. At the farewell press conference, the Argentinian could not hold back tears and said that he had given his all to Barcelona but would like to say goodbye to the club under different circumstances. As a member of the Catalan club, Messi scored 672 goals in 778 games and won 35 trophies, including 10 Spanish league titles, 7 Spanish Cups, and 4 Champions Leagues. On August 10th, Lionel signed a contract with PSG until 2023, with the possibility of an extension until 2024. Since he moved as a free agent, the French club did not pay anything for the transfer, which could have become a record in the history of soccer. Messi will play for the new club as number 30. It was number 30 that the Argentinian first appeared in Barcelona matches. According to unofficial data, Messi's annual salary at PSG after taxes will be $40 to $45 million. At the same time, Leo earns about $34 million a year from advertising. He has a lifetime contract with Adidas and also collaborates with Pepsi, Lay's, the GX Sports app, Budweiser, the Qatari mobile operator Ooredoo, the Hard Rock restaurant chain, and others. Leo also signed an agreement with the Cirque du Soleil to hold a show inspired by his career. The premiere took place in 2019 in Barcelona. Messi was also the face of EA video games publisher Gillette, MasterCard, Xbox, watch brand Audemars Piguet, Chinese automaker Chery, Air Europa, and Qatar Airways Airlines, sports drink Gatorade, Dolce & Gabbana, and once Messi starred in a Japanese commercial for a facial cleanser where he spoke Japanese. In 2012, the Argentine, along with Kobe Bryant, starred in several commercials for Turkish Airlines. One of them has a touching plot. A little boy can't choose who to get an autograph from, and in the end chooses ice cream. Lionel Messi's collaboration with Samsung has produced a number of commercials. For example, a musical short film in which the player carries out a mission to change the world for the better, and a large-scale video in collaboration with the Marvel Film Studio, in which an alternative team of Avengers was assembled. According to experts, Messi's participation in an advertising campaign can cost a brand $5 to $8 million, and one post on Instagram about $650,000. Lionel's total fortune is estimated at $600 million. He has his own clothing brand, the Messi Store, and a portfolio of hotel properties under the MIM Majestic I Messi brand. The chain has 4 operating hotels in Sitges and in the ski resort of Baqueira Barret, both in Catalonia, in Ibiza and Mallorca, as well as 1 hotel in Andorra, which is currently under reconstruction. Messi invests in the construction of high-rise buildings and luxury residential complexes in Argentina and Barcelona, and the construction of a theme park in the Chinese city of Nanjing was also announced. After arriving in Paris, Leo and his family live in the luxurious Royal Mansell Hotel and are already looking for a new home. According to Spanish media, the Argentinian's current teammate Sergio Ramos offered Messi not only help in adapting, but also his house as an alternative to a hotel. In Spain, the family lived in the town of Castelldefels, near Barcelona, in a house bought for $2 million in 2009. Leo invested another $6.7 million in repairs. At some point, Lionel began to suffer from noisy neighbors who also let the paparazzi in for money. Leo solved this problem in an extraordinary way by simply buying their house. Messi was also credited with owning a mansion in the suburbs of Barcelona in the form of a giant soccer ball, but Leo's father assured reporters that his son had nothing to do with this house. In the capital of Catalonia, Messi also bought a house for his parents in the elite Gavamar district for $3.5 to $4 million. Not so long ago, Lionel bought several apartments in Miami. He now has an apartment with 2 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, and an elevator for a car in the Porsche-designed tower skyscraper, as well as a condominium in the Regalia Tower. The cost of each apartment is estimated from $5 to $7.5 million. There in Miami, the soccer player rented a 3-story mansion with 5 bedrooms on the coast for $200,000 a month this summer. The Argentinian's fleet is also impressive, with a total cost of about $40 million. Some of the cars are gifts from sponsors, for example an Audi R8 sports car, an Audi Q7 SUV, and an Audi R8 GT supercar. Toyota also handed Messi the keys to a much more modest Toyota Prius electric car. Also in Leo's garage, there is a rare 1957 Ferrari 335 S Spider, Maserati Gran Turismo S and Gran Turismo MC Stradale, and Ferrari 335 S Spider Scagaletti, Cadillac Escalade, Range Rover, Lexus LX 570, Dodge Charger SRT8, and Pagani Zonda. And one of Messi's first cars was a miniature and practical Mini Cooper S Cabriolet. Lionel also owns a private plane for 16 people worth $31.5 million. The names of his family members are written on the steps of the ladder, and the number 10 is on the tail. In the off-season, Messi prefers to relax on a yacht, so in 2020 for $55,000 a week, he rented a ship for 10 people with 4 cabins. Lionel Messi is currently playing at PSG, and on November 29, 2021, he received the Golden Ball for the 7th time. Do you think PSG, together with Messi, will be able to become the strongest team in Europe? If you like the video, leave a like and also subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss anything interesting.